Hi, this is Jason Conoval from Venom Power, and welcome to part 6 of the Venom BCMS video tutorial series. In this video, we will be going through adding batteries to inventory, as well as updating battery configurations. Let's start by taking a look at adding a battery to our account. To add a battery to inventory, we must be online and logged into our account at www.venombcms.com. Adding batteries to inventory is not available through the desktop software at this time. Once logged in, there are two ways to add a battery to inventory, assuming that the new battery is connected to the system. The first is at the bay level, which can be accessed by selecting Setup for the bay that the battery was placed in. From there, we are provided with a Setup battery window, which provides us various options for different battery types. I want to mention that when setting up a standard battery, or one that is not a DJI or Venom Commercial Series battery, the cell count is auto-configured in the setup based on the reading taken from the balance leads. To access the second method for setting up a new battery, let's navigate to the inventory page and select the Click Here to Get Started message. The pop-up screen provides three options for setup of a new battery, including a quick add feature for batteries from the Venom Drone Professional and Venom Commercial Series lines, setup of a generic battery, and also setup of supported DJI batteries. The setup of a new Venom battery and a generic battery is essentially the same, but with pre-populated data available through the setup of a new Venom battery. The setup of a DJI battery is similar to the setup of a Venom battery in that there is pre-populated data configured in the back end to ensure proper operation. For this exercise, let's start by taking a look at setting up a generic battery. First, let's enter a name for this battery, keeping in mind that this is the primary reference to the battery throughout the software. We should enter a battery name with the goal of making sure that we retain uniqueness to this specific battery, especially as we consider the possibility of having multiple of the same battery pack in our inventory. Let's then enter a value for manufacturer and then for serial number. The serial number is a user-defined value that will help us to identify the specific battery pack, and care should be taken to ensure that this serial number is not issued to more than one battery. For Venom Commercial Series BMS batteries, it is important to use the serial number that is printed on the bottom of the battery. The Venom BCMS will use this value to auto-load the battery configuration upon connection, and we will discuss this in greater detail in a later video. At some point in this setup process, we recommend that you label your battery with the battery name and serial number that you have assigned. We use a Brother P-Touch desktop label maker that supports two-line printing and find that the label material this machine uses holds up really well. We have left a link in the description for your reference. Continuing on with the setup, let's provide values for the remaining fields: purchase date, purchase price, chemistry, and capacity. For the max charging current, we recommend no greater than 1C, which is auto-populated as we enter the battery capacity. Always be sure to follow the recommendations of the battery manufacturer here. The max discharging current will auto-populate to 1C, or a maximum of 6.6 amps, so that the 100 watt ceiling for each discharge circuit in the BCMS is not exceeded. By default, the service interval is set to 90 days, and we recommend either keeping to this default or decreasing the value. As the software continues to track our battery, the value we input here will trigger reminders as service is upcoming, due, or overdue. Consistency in running service cycles helps to ensure accurate data over time as it relates to the degradation of battery pack capacity. With this information, we are providing a valuable metric of battery health, and reports are available to show how this has changed over time. Next, let's set the cell count for our battery before moving on to the storage voltage, which in most cases should remain at the default setting. From there, we have the operating range, which sets the minimum and maximum per cell voltage used by the BCMS when charging and discharging. Be sure to confirm that the operating voltage set here is within the window recommended by the manufacturer of your battery. As we move on to the fault settings section, these settings are used by the system to shut down an active baseline, charge, or storage as part of the many safety features of the Venom BCMS. Additionally, should either of these thresholds be exceeded, a fault will be logged on the inventory item, and this record will remain for future reference. Please note that modifying the default settings may cause unnecessary faults to occur, and you may have to adjust these settings to find the proper balance of safety and fault detection for your specific operation. You will also notice that when setting up a Venom Commercial Series battery, there are some additional settings available in this section, which are mission-related fault thresholds. The last element we have is the notes field, which can be used as we see fit. Often we will use this field either to note that the battery was purchased to replace a retired pack, or if it was purchased to fulfill requirements of an upcoming job. After we are finished entering notes, let's click Save, and now we have our first battery added to inventory. At the Inventory Overview screen, take note of the Configure button, which allows us to go back in and edit any values input for this battery. On this note, once the first operation has run for a given battery, we will not be able to edit the cell count or capacity, so it is important to enter accurate information for these fields during initial setup. Now let's take a look at the setup of a DJI battery. The software provides a list of supported batteries, and should we be setting up a DJI battery, the steps are the same as we just covered. However, the max charge and discharge rates are set in the background per DJI's recommendations. You may also notice that for the fault settings, we do not have access to set the cell imbalance threshold, and this is because cell balance is managed internally by the battery pack. We will go into greater detail to discuss additional unique limitations of DJI batteries in a future video. For now, returning back to the inventory overview screen, let's take a look at retiring a battery and also deleting a battery. We may choose to retire a battery for a number of reasons, but this feature is useful in allowing for us to hide batteries so that we can focus solely on active batteries in our fleet. To retire a battery, we hit retire, and once we do, this battery will no longer show in our active list of batteries. All of the data attributed to this battery will remain accessible in our account. However, the various summary metrics at the top of the page will no longer include this now retired pack. We can recall this and any other retired packs by clicking on the Show Retired filter. The inventory list will now just show us retired batteries for our account, and notice that the summary metrics now also provide values only for this filtered list of retired batteries. At this stage, we have the ability to reactivate this battery and to also delete it. Please note that when deleting a battery, all data associated with it will be lost permanently. To return to our active list of batteries, we will select the Show Active filter. This concludes part 6 of the Venom BCMS video tutorial series. Please see the description below where we have provided a link to part 7 of this series, where we will discuss getting started with our newly added battery by running a baseline test. Until next time, safe charging.